tonight I would like to speak to you for a little while. I want to paint you a word picture or two. So, the other day I went on the bus. Turned out to be the bus journey from hell. Literally, the Beelzebus, okay? First of all, stepped on to said bus and found that the driver didn't have any change. Hence, he gave me a promissory note, redeemable at my nearest bus complex. Secondly, walked up the aisle to find that half of the members of the band Stomp were present and seemed to be mid-rehearsal. Thirdly, well, the bus broke down halfway through the journey, and the rest of us, well, we had to get off and push it to its final destination. Now, the driver in this situation really performed the role of performing monkey, simply steering every so often to avoid the odd pedestrian. And yet, when we got there, to save face, we got back on the bus so that it didn't arrive in convoy with its passengers behind. We all said thank you to the driver before leaving. Now, this is something we all do. I think it's completely ridiculous. You see, if you were to go to a restaurant and the waiter were to run over to you, launch the food into your face, and then you tip him afterwards for his technique, we would all think you somewhat wrong in the head, or so I believe. But this sort of politeness, I do the same thing in shopping centres, okay? So the other day, I went shopping. I've gone looking for the new iPad in Tesco. Now, I don't know what it is about the new iPad. Maybe it's the fact that it's sleek, it's sexy. Maybe it's the fact that I don't have a paperweight that costs $1/3 of a grand. Or maybe, just maybe, it's the fact that the entire production process is carbon neutral. Alright? Although in light of the recent BBC Panorama documentary, carbon neutral for Apple probably means that they turn the heating off in the sweatshops. But I digress. So anyway, wandered into Tesco, marched straight for the iPad. Found, to my horror, somebody was already on the iPad. Let's, for sake of argument, call him the Hogger. Alright? Now, the Hogger was on the iPad. What was I to do? Perhaps wander over, make myself known to him, say, if you're finished, can I have a quick look? Or maybe wait, just out of his eye line, maybe so he could sense that I was there. No, I didn't do either of those things, largely because I'm an incredibly socially awkward person, and so I decided to browse literally anything else in the shop to avoid a confrontation. Moving around, looking at home appliances, looking at toasters, juice makers, blenders, just to avoid talking to him. But then, I clocked somebody else doing the same thing. Somebody else was browsing, aimlessly. What were we to do? Let's call him, for sake of argument, the challenger. Were we in the challenger to have some sort of tribal dance-off to see who was worthy to look at the iPad next? No, because that would be ridiculous. Instead, we began to browse and counter-browse, moving in between, looking at an iPad over here, maybe moving to look at an ergonomic cushion. And it was this ergonomic cushion that was my downfall. Almost. The Hogger decided to leave the iPad. The challenger saw the Hogger leave the iPad. He looked at me, looked at the iPad, looked at me, looked at the iPad, and began to move for the iPad. Suddenly, I had to sprint down the aisle, moving anything out of my way that was in my way. Out of the way, child! Out of the way, Granny! She performed a somersault that she would have last done at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Merriment showered the floor as she fell to the ground. But I was triumphant. Smugly lifted the tablet. The anti-theft device went off, pronouncing me a thief to all who were watching. Not that many were watching, they were too busy filming a crippled geriatric. And I found, as I looked at the havoc I had wrought on my local branch of Tesco, that the Hogger had in fact been looking at a Samsung Galaxy Tab, and the iPad had been free all along. Hashtag facepalm, ladies and gentlemen. I think you'll agree. Anyway, I do rather enjoy shopping, actually. I don't mind it. And on one occasion, decided to go to a camping shop. Now, while I was walking around, I noticed a pocket-sized thing of, well, there's no easy way to tell you, bear repellent. Bear repellent for repelling bears. You get the general idea. Now, my initial reaction was not as the manufacturer may have intended. It wasn't to stand there and think, oh, oh, that'll come in handy in the lakes. Because if you were to find a bear in the lakes, you'd probably think of something more than, oh gosh, where's my pocket repellent? You wouldn't think that, ladies and gentlemen, I know you wouldn't. But the thing is, it gets worse than that. Because the repellent in question only works within 3 feet. Yeah, exactly, completely pointless. 3 feet. Now, by the time the bear is within 3 feet, you're going to be far better off using a mild aphrodisiac and having a colleague dressed as a lady bear. You catch my drift. Completely pointless and utterly infantile. I mean, I bought one just in case. And, do you see any bears? I rest my case, people of Lancaster. Now, one thing I sort of find myself thinking with increasing frequency these days is that our world is becoming ever more about sex. I mean, don't share this around, just between you and me. I do like to experiment from time to time in the bedroom, although when I do it, I'm more talking about an exciting new shade of scatter cushion rather than anything else. But one thing I really don't like about our sex-crazed world is lad culture. All right, I think it's first of all disgusting, but second of all, I don't think I'd make a very good lad. Now, central to the issue is the fact that I only have 3 stock dance moves, all right? Which, yes, I'm now going to proceed to show you. The 3 are fixing in a light bulb, okay? That's the first. The second is, oh gosh, a bear's coming, where's my repellent? The third is the ever-popular crying in the corner of the club in the fetal position. Now, not an easy move to pull off, actually, you'd be surprised. It tends to look sad and pathetic when other people do it, but when I do it, it's frankly genius. Now, on one occasion, I did decide that I was going to approach a lady. All right, now I can hear what you're thinking. Andrew, what was your stratagem? Well, First of all, I waited for my favourite song to come on the jukebox. I gather they still have those in these establishments. First of all, waited for that. I'm so excited by the Pointer Sisters. And next, what were we going to talk about? Well, first of all, I thought, maybe we can talk medieval history, but then I thought, no, stupid, Andrew, stupid! She's an eligible lady. All the boys will have been talking medieval history with us. Instead, I decided to pull out and deploy a revolutionary new dance move. I began to hoover towards her, as I went across the room. Instantly, she saw that I was a man with whom she could do business. Sorry, that sounds a little bit suggestive. Instantly, I was a man with whom she was impressed. I was the man that had demolished, had destroyed any semblance of gender stereotyping. I was the man, and yet I was doing the hoovering. She obliged me, yes, sure enough, by dusting a little round the sides, and the chemistry was palpable. That isn't until the end of the song. I was a little out of breath, just as I am before you now, and leant nonchalantly on my hoover. She approached slowly, bent down, and did the most soul-crushing thing. She unplugged my hoover. The international sign of rejection, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'll agree. You may have seen it, you may even have felt it, and I felt it then. It hurt, all right? It hurt. All I could think to say as she walked away was, thank you. 1 foot away, 2 feet away, 3 feet away, and then she was out of the 3-foot radius. I was launched upon by a bear! Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have your repellent, when you go down to the club today, you're sure of a big surprise. Hello, Lancaster. Are we well? We good? Marvellous. Now, I tend to find, now the music has stopped, that people tend to overreact, okay, over the teeniest, tiniest, most insignificant of things. Take, for example, the swine flu epidemic. So people went absolutely mental, absolutely crazy. But they did bear in mind the 3 stock rules for when an epidemic occurs. The first is, buy a face mask. You're not going to wear it, you're just going to keep it near like a sort of comfort blanket, and everything will be fine. Secondly, never shake hands with anybody, especially dirty strangers, all right? The way I like to remember it is a little bit like that poem, okay? So, red sky at night, shepherd's delight. And instead it's, do they look pasty in the light? Don't shake their hand, they're probably diseased. And thirdly, people panic buy beans. I don't know why people panic buy beans, I had a bit of a think. And I thought it's probably because in the post-apocalypse UK, the people will probably perish before the beans, and they'll have something to pass on to their children. Anyway, the stock rule, the sort of overriding rule, is no human contact. However, there is a place where you can't avoid human contact, and I refer, of course, to the train. So a little bit of background on trains. I'm aware some of you may never have been on one. So first, people never make eye contact. Of course, unless there's an unattended item in the aisle. Then people tend to make eye contact fairly erratically. Secondly, every time the train is coming into a station, people, and I don't know whether it brings good luck, but people will start to frantically press the open door button as though they fear being trapped in that metal hell any longer. And thirdly, the refreshments trolley will only ever arrive at the most inopportune moment. I'm sort of talking about at the end of an exciting anecdote. So you'll be saying, do I cut the red wire, the blue wire, the red wire, the blue wire? Would anybody like any tea, coffee, alcohol in the trolley? Which only raises more questions. Why do they sell alcohol on what is in effect your daily commute? I mean, my uncle used to use trains an awful lot, and he drank himself into the grave of my grandmother because he turned up to the funeral pissed. That's the background on trains. That's the background on trains, ladies and gentlemen. So, I was actually on a train the other day, and it was incredibly busy, intensely busy, almost uncomfortably so. Now, we were mostly enjoying ourselves, as cramped as we were, until somebody got on at one of the stops. He had little bags under his eyes, a little bit of a sniffle in his nose. He was instantly branded by everybody on the train as carrying the pig disease. This man was probably infected, and naturally ended up stood opposite me. But the journey continued fine, everything was fine, until the next stop but one. We just had an announcement over the tannoy about unattended items in the aisle, and I was genuinely considering kicking my bag into the aisle, looking shifty, and trying to get some more space to myself on that incredibly busy train. At this moment, Mr. Oink, as we shall now call him, cocked back his head to sneeze. From this moment on, chaos reigned. People frantically started making eye contact, pressing the buttons on either side of the carriage to try and open the door. As the sneeze reached its zenith, the refreshments trolley was thrown into the aisle to form a makeshift barricade as a woman near the back started humming Requiem for a Dream. A man coming out of the toilet saw what was happening, only to kick back at anyone trying to get into his sanctuary. At this moment, I decided to do something truly altruistic and dived on Mr. Oink like a soldier on a snotty hand grenade. I waited until the eruption came and liquid shrapnel filled my face. It was at the same time humiliating and disgusting. But there was only one thing left for me to do. I stood, I said, "Bless you," and then I went to get a beer from the trolley. Anyway, so recently we had Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is sort of a time for spontaneous acts of romance. But I like to do my tradition on Valentine's Day. I have something of a tradition. So basically what I do is I get all my teddy bears, alright? I line them up, blindfold them because they're going to go on some blind dates. A bit of whimsy to this. And then what I do is I execute all of them because if I'm not allowed to be happy, why the hell should I? I think part of the problem, part of the root of my unhappiness is the fact I tend to open with that line on first dates. It's not very often I get texted back. But still, anyway, this year I decided to break with tradition and went down to a restaurant. So I got there, the man on the desk was admittedly a little bit confused when I arrived alone, not this, the couple's night, even looking behind me to see whether I had a tiny little man in a hole. But when he was satisfied that I didn't, he went to see if they even did tables for singles on this, as I say, the couple's night. And it turns out they did, but they didn't have any free. So I ended up sat with another diner who was an elderly lady, who wasn't particularly keen to talk and so needed warming up. So we decided to play a game, looking at the different couples in the restaurant and trying to decide at what stage of their relationship they were at. So obviously you have the first kind of couple, a bit shy, a bit awkward, but just happy to be together. That's lovely. Then you have the second kind of couple, the long-suffering couple, who will spend some time looking at their partner, but more time eyeing up the cutlery to see how much damage they think they can do with the soup spoon. And thirdly, you have the third kind of couple. They are really incredibly happy to be together and want everybody to know it. Usually characterised by talking loudly or vigorously dry humping on the table, as this couple were. They spent a lot of time looking lovingly into each other's eyes, or rather strangely into mine. At this moment, they decided to take a break from their exertions, and as the dry-humping male disengaged, he gave me a sly wink. He was fumbling in his pocket, and a waiter was waiting with a camera in the wings. It became obvious that this man wanted to propose to his significant other. And I'm not going to say I hated him for his happiness, I'm not going to say I begrudged him for him having a point to his life, but I am going to say that we must bear in mind that at this moment I was stuck with Edith, because that was her name. So, anyway, Edith actually began chatting, and it turned out she was incredibly interesting. She told me some great stories about when she used to fight the Japanese in the war, and everything was great. We came to the end of the meal, and I decided that I wanted to treat this woman. I wanted to give her a Valentine's Day to remember. And for those of you who think that sounds suggestive, shame on you. So anyway, I wanted to pay the bill. So I waited for her to go to the toilet, she stood up and went, and I took my chance. Again, I can't stress enough to go and pay the bill. So I walked over to the desk, and as I got to handing my card over, the hairs on the back of my neck began to prickle upwards. Something wasn't right. Suddenly I heard a bone-chilling cry of "Banzai!" Out of the corner of my eye I saw Edith erupt from behind an ornamental plant display and begin to charge across the room towards me. She had been wearing a shawl, but now was complete army-clad, combat gear all the way. It occurred to me she probably wanted to pay her own bill. I was damned if my nice gesture was going to reach fruition. At this moment, she charged and jumped on top of me. Both of us fell to the ground, and as the screams began, the dry-humping couple chose their moment. The dry-humping male going down on one knee to propose to the dry-humping female. They were oblivious to everything that was going on around them. At that moment, the waiter took his photo, and I can say that I was pleased that I'd ruined that couple's perfect moment forevermore. You see, in the background of that picture, there will forevermore be a geriatric in war paint, wherever that came from, with a student in a chokehold. And whilst it's true, people of Lancaster, that I have for some time wanted to be beaten around a little bit on Valentine's Day, Edith wasn't quite the shade of grey I had in mind. Did all of you here live with somebody? Give me a cheer if you live with someone. Excellent. Your name Nikki? Excellent. How many people do you live with? 5. Okay, and what's the worst thing they've ever done? That's tame. Not nearly as bad as being boxed and sent to Guatemala, which never happened. You're Michael, aren't you? For the evening, I'm right, yeah? What is the worst thing your flatmates have ever done?
Someone took a bag of rubbish and just left it in the front of the door.
So this is what I'm talking about. Right? Living with people can be hellish. Okay, there's the obvious, the sort of having to work around other people's schedules. And then there's the second one, which I'm not going to linger on. I'm sure you've all got stories of this kind, but it's the sex, all right? Now, I'm fine with sex as a concept. I really am. But I don't like it when you mock people with it, all right? So, in our house, it goes bed, wall, bed, okay? So I can clearly tell when people are going about their coital interactions. They tend to sort of do some sort of disgusting, because I have fun at this point, it'd be brilliant. They tend to do some sort of disgusting coital Morse code, banging away. And it translates roughly as ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. We're having far more fun than you. And then the thing that irks me about it is it's true, alright? It's true. The only human contact I have had since coming to university is, you know when you accidentally brush the hand of the cashier when she's giving you change? That. Little does she know, there's no accident. Yeah? It's actually part of the patented McKendrick method of getting a girl married in just 3,212 easy steps. But I digress. The third thing, at least in our house anyway, is the filth. All right, just to say, you're all right. Just the filth. It is disgusting and it's dirty. All right, in our house, living things just congregate. Okay, we've got ducks and. Well, ducks, this is the thing, and the ducks, they look cute, sure they look cute, but they poo everywhere, okay? They make the place disgusting. So, does anybody remember How Clean Is Your House with Kim and Aggie? Yeah? For anyone who doesn't know, it was where they come and prod around your house and tell you how filthy it is. Basically what they do, they come in, they have a bit of a ferret around, they put their latex gloves on, and then they come and give their action report. So the first thing would be, wait, okay, I can't do the accent. Right, so, okay, if you go over by the window, if you lick the window, you'll get quite a nasty sore tummy, okay? That's number one. If you go over by the hob, and if you lick the hob, you'll get a rare form of sleeping sickness only found in Patagonian tree frogs. And thirdly, if you go over by the fire extinguisher, you'll get leprosy. See, it's very much a choice if there is a fire, of putting out the fire and getting leprosy. Those are options A and B. The thing is, not only am I bringing leprosy back, I'm bringing sexy back. That's the thing. With lads. Now this explains the squalor. Alright, lads love to live in their own filth. Now, the other night, we had the football lads over. They were down at Shea McKendrick for a bit of a party down. The thing with football lads is they look cute. Sure, they look cute, but they poo everywhere. This was some sort of metaphor, some sort of ridiculous exaggeration, but it is not. It is not, and this is no word of a lie. The other night when I came down from sleeping happily for a couple of hours when they'd let me, I found a human shit in the middle of my kitchen. No word of a lie. A human shit just sat there. I knew it was the football lads, okay, because it was so perfectly formed, it could only have come out of the pristine buttocks of a footballer. Okay? That's the thing. Were they ever house-trained? Never house-trained? If I have a wife, subject of course to her not shitting in the middle of my kitchen, then if I have a son, and he looks even remotely like he's going to become a lad, I'll take him by the ear, drag him up to the toilet and say, this son, this is the toilet, this is for poo-poos, right? Then I'll take him with me, this is the kitchen. I don't know why it's so close to the toilet, that if anything is an architectural flaw, but this is the kitchen, this is not for poo-poos. The point is, when challenged about this, the response came, and I quote, cheeky? And I've heard about cheeky Nando's, I haven't heard about cheeky shit in the middle of my kitchen. Ridiculous new internet craze. Hello, my name is Andrew, and this is my kitchen shit challenge for IBS. Sponsored by Nando's. Stay cheeky. Absolutely. The second thing that really infuriates me is the games they play. Okay, so I'm only going to illustrate one. It's called, and ready for this, right? It's called Last One to Get Your Dick Out's Gay. Beggars belief. Last one to get your dick out's gay. The sweet irony is that lads are terrified of homosexuals. So terrified of them that they've designed a system to preemptively determine which of their fellows is gay. It's completely stupid. The thing is that if you don't want to get your todger out, there is a forfeit, okay, which I'm going to describe again through the medium of the story. I was with two friends the other day, two female friends, but that's largely irrelevant. And we were having a study sesh. Now these are two very nice, decent girls who are now forever traumatised. You see, while we've been out, the lads decided to play a game or two of Last One to Get Your Dick Out's Gay. And one of the lads had been less than keen, in fact one could say reluctant, to get his John Thomas out of his cage. And so, instead, the lads had decided they had to do a forfeit. Okay? So the forfeit was to put Veet hair removal cream onto his testicles. The thing is, they didn't trust him to do it himself. So instead, one of them did it. Okay? Now, did they use bare hands? No, they didn't. Did they use gloves? Wrong again. No, they used somebody else's spatula before putting it back unwashed. This was the sight that greeted me as I entered the kitchen, me with my two friends behind me, saying, now this is the kitchen, don't mind the filth. Oh my God! And it was absolutely shocking. The only redeeming feature is the fact that the lads had actually applied it quite artistically. So in a Cubist Impressionist type fashion. So it was actually quite easy on the eye. The whole scene was horrific. The two girls stood back as though witnesses to some sort of horrific accident. And it was a sorry sight, as I say. Two of the lads giggling away, a third in noticeable discomfort. And myself stood there making notes for a future stand-up set. That's not true. I too was horrified. I didn't know where to look. To my right are the piles of filth, unwashed dishes, unclean clothes, and interspecial shit. Or on my left, the very worst advert for Veet hair removal cream you're ever likely to see. I was in a rage. I thought, right, I've got to show up. I've got to give them a damn good telling off. So I moved across the kitchen until I noticed the camera. It turned out they were filming the Veet ballsack video. Now, subscribers, 20,000 views, yeah? And we're very proud indeed. So proud, in fact, that I've been nominated, and I thought, here tonight, I'd give you an awards show. So here we are, here we go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, are we well? Yes, marvellous. Now, I know you've been asked a number of times, but it's only polite. Now, as the man in the baby costume said, I've known this man for 9 years, by the way, and I'm not all right with it. He said that Valentine's Day is fast approaching, and indeed it is. Now, around this time of year, people tend to ask me, Andrew, what is it that makes you so much of a stud? And then they'll say, is there some sort of volume, perhaps, we can read of your sexual exploits? And my answer is, Chapter 1. Innocence. Now, at the age of 7, I received my first and only Valentine's Day present. It was from a girl in my class, by which I mean educational class, not social strata. My method of choosing a romantic partner by class is very much the same as choosing a car seat. It's middle or nothing, I'm afraid. Anyway, she gave me a toy car, and this was marvellous. The fact that it was from a girl was somewhat suboptimal, but I seem to remember her tears as I told her as much. The thing was, we clawed it back from that. We spent a whirlwind romance. We held hands on the yard, we dined together in the dinner hall, and then she tried to kiss me, and I cried and pretended to be dead. Chapter 2, Adventure. Then we move on from these early days, you see, and we go to that purveyor of romantic situations. I refer, of course, to Mackie D's. Now, I never went on a date to Mackie D's, but I am going to McDonald's, for those of you who don't know the streetwise lingo. I'm going to try and paint you a word picture now of what I imagine it was probably like. So you've got your date. Imagine with me. We move. We weave between the cool kids hanging around the front with their McFlurries and their pointy words. We go in. We're assigned a table quickly. We've already told the maitre d' that we're coming. Then I go and get a straw and perhaps a wet wipe for a napkin while she peruses the saver menu. Then I pay with a voucher off a bus ticket and £2.50 I got from my mum for my lunch. And then she's like, putty in your hand. Believe me. Chapter 3. Casual sex. Now, we move on from those days, and by this point, we've been doing 6 years solid of Mackie D dates. 6 years solid. Solid, unlike our bowel movements, because after 6 years of fast food, solid is more of a wistful ambition. So we move on to university. And university becomes somewhat more ballsy, somewhat more willing to go out and do whatever it is you do. So a friend of mine, he had, over 6 days, coital interaction with 6 separate individuals. Now, I've never been in this situation, linked perhaps to my use of the phrase coital interaction. But he had, and what's impressive wasn't that he'd, sown his seed with such vigour. It was instead that he couldn't remember the names of any of these girls. Any of them. Now, if I forget someone's name, I'll tend to say, sorry, I've forgotten your name, would you mind telling me, instead of, would you like a shag? Usually that question doesn't get as much traction, especially from me, but it can sort of get to ridiculous extremes. So you can go through the entire of your life not knowing the name of your significant other until you get to your wedding day. And the vicar says, Andrew, would you take Vera to be your lawfully wedded wife? I say, yes, Vera! That's right! Everyone, this is Vera, my lawfully wedded wife! Isn't she beautiful? And chapter 4. We're really rolling on through now. There's only 5 chapters, don't worry. True love is chapter 4. Now, this can come at any stage. I saw it the other day on the bus, a couple eating a pot noodle. Not the same pot noodle, their own individual pot noodles. No, that's the wrong way around. Please forgive me while I revert quickly. Not their own individual pot noodles, but they share pot noodles. And I thought, that's love. I really did. That's what I want, okay? And it's tepid mush in a plastic cup, but it's with the girl of your dreams. And I don't ask for much. It wouldn't even need to be Bombay Bad Boy. So if I was with her, it could be sausage. Could be anything. Chapter 5. You alright, sir? Public toilets. Okay? Now those two words, public toilets, are two words that should never go together. It's like public displays of affection or public hanging. You should have left behind in the 70s. But on some occasions you're caught short, and on this occasion I was, so I went into a public toilet, I sat down. Now don't read too much into that, I was in fact doing a sit-down wee. I find these relaxing. I'm aware that half of the population of sit-down wee is normal. But it's like the song goes. Like the song goes. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Sit down, wee. Now, I was in there, I was readying myself to go, waiting for a torrent of delight, and a kerfuffle began outside. A man burst into the toilets, went straight to the cubicle next to me, sat down and buckled his belt. I think they may have gone the other way around. But he was ready to go. Then he just began to cry. Manly tears. Now what was I to do? You know, at this stage, I'd rather contract dysentery than talk to another crying man in the toilet. It's just not on, it's not British. Apparently. But anyway, it turns out I need not do anything. For he suddenly said, I'm going to ring her. A phrase never spoken wisely by a crying man. So he picked up the phone, I imagine he was sat something like this. So the exchange that followed was eloquent, beautiful, if slightly awkward. He said, yeah, I know you said don't ring again, but I just wanted to say, you took the best years of my life. Allow me to love you but never love me back. And just cast that love aside for the next man with a flashy car. I just wanted to say, I hope the divorce goes well and good luck to you. And I felt proud of that. I really did. It was like a beaten, downtrodden soul that really made progress. Until he added, I'm doing a massive dump right now, so you can tell Carl I don't give a flying turd about his Spanish house and his tidy lawn. So all I could really do at this point was what any man would do, what any of you in here would do. I stood on top of the toilet. I leant over the partition and said those two words that any man in that position would want to hear. Hey, pot noodle. And this is how I found my true love, you see. Well, I'm his Bombay bad boy. I'm also Andrew McKendrick, thank you. And are we well? Give me a cheer, I've dismantled the mic. So, I mean, the thing is, if you thought this was going to be professional, look at our amp. This is the littlest sort of rubbishest shit you've ever seen at a stand-up gig, but we are the Lancaster University Comedy Institute. We are the premier comedy society on campus. We are also the only comedy society on campus, but nevertheless, we do a big, old, good job. Now, we're going to have some stand-up for you tonight. We're going to have some improv, so that's comedy that is being made before your very eyes, and hopefully that'll be exciting. But first, I have some exciting news. Okay? So today, this very day, the 20th of October, is the 69th anniversary of the House Committee on Un-American Activities. Woo! No? Okay, well this was where allies of Joe McCarthy, Senator Joe McCarthy, or as I know him, Hero Joe, the dirty commie hunter, that is where his allies tried to root out the most rapacious of communists. I refer, of course, to actors and all of their ilk. So, give me a cheer if you know Joe McCarthy. Some people know. I'm sure all of you must know him from that nursery rhyme our parents used to sing to us when we were little. I seem to remember it going something like this. Cuddly Joe, Fluffy Joe, who brings the sunshine and the snow, give him a cheer so he can show those commie fucking bastards where to go. If I was to sung that as a child, you know, I'd be off like that. You know, just like that. I refer, of course, to sleep, not masturbating. I was 10. Okay, so you went there, not me. Despite the fact none of you had thought it beforehand, I know. Never mind, I want to do some interrogation of my own, okay? We're going to hunt out some communists in the audience tonight. If you're a communist, it doesn't matter. I will be writing your name down and telling the authorities afterwards, but just relax, okay? Very simple. We're going to do this step by step, okay? Let's have a think. You, madam, what is your name? Chloe, okay. And Chloe, what do you study? Natural sciences. Okay. And what is your favourite element of the natural sciences? No pun intended. Yeah, or anything you like. This is your gig, Chloe. Anything you want to say is fine by me. Water. No, I haven't got anything on water. Communists hate water. That's a fact. Okay, anybody, you there, what is your name? Sorry, say that again. Jessie, okay, Jessie, and what do you study? You study, oh, well. Put your hand up if you're not an environmental scientist or a natural scientist. Yeah, this is a poll. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what is your name, sir? Kyle. Okay, what do you study, Kyle? Film. Oh, marvellous. Film. What's your favourite film, Kyle?
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. That shows you're not a communist. Communists can't read, watch, or fiction. Okay, you there, what is your name? Sarah. And how many mothers do you have, Sarah? Is it Mother Russia? Yeah, dirty communist. Are you a communist, Sarah? Yes. Shit, if you are, I didn't expect anyone to say yes. I'm going to have to put you down, Sarah. Sorry, the police are getting your name. Sarah. Okay, next question. I've got a multiple choice question now. You there, madam, what is your name? Louise, okay, I am bound not to come any closer to you, not by law, but by this point. So, I'm going to stay here and ask you the question from here. Are you alright with that? Okay. What is your opinion of National Socialism or Nazism? Is it A, great, or is it B, a bastardisation of our own pure socialism? Those are the only two options.
I'll go with B.
B. Shit, another communist. This isn't going great. Alright, next question. You there, madam, what's your name? Laura. Laura, have you ever tweeted using the hashtag seize the means of production? No. Okay, so 50-50 on communists at the minute. For those of you who aren't communists, I've developed a list of known communists so that you can avoid them, okay? Number 1, Bob the Builder. He didn't want to be a builder, that's just what the Politburo gave him. Second, whoever invented the phrase sharing is caring. Watch out for that bastard. And second, all farmers. I'm also aware that was third. List of probable communists. Now, these are maybes, not definites. Robert Davis Griffiths, chairman of the Communist Party of Britain. Probable communist. Margaret Thatcher, because I can say what I like about her, she's fucking dead. And Barack Obama, because if enough batshit crazy Republicans say it, it must be true. And that's a motto I live by. Final couple of questions. You there, madam. I just can't talk to you because I know you. You there, madam. What's your name? Lauren, Funky Town. And complete this. It's a method of affirmation, okay? You say Funky Town to mean yes. You say Funky Town to mean I am all right. Right, complete this well-known title, Lauren. USS A. That's right! You flipping beat the system. That's well done. Other acceptable answers, USS Ronald Reagan, God bless him, and the USS Enterprise. Use the force. Okay, so that brings me to the end of my questioning, and so we're going to go on to our acts. So I have a few rules, first of all. First, if you go into the bar to buy a drink, only buy one for yourself, okay? You earned it, you should be the only one to profit from it, okay? Second, if you want to leave, don't use the big doors at the back, they are inferior Russian wood. Use the fire door at the back there, that's superior American steel. What else have we got? Don't heckle. Heckle will be taken as a sign of undermining capitalism. And that's probably it. Oh no, don't have your phone on. Switch your phone off. If it does go, I will just pretend or believe that it's your communist overlord ringing with instructions. Okay? So that brings us to the end of my little bit. So I just need to raise the energy in the room. So what I want you to do is on this side I want you to start chanting USA, USA. And on this side I want you to start shouting profit and loss, profit and loss. Okay? So on the count of 3 we'll do that and I will introduce my first act which is going to be Edward Dearden. Okay? So start going USA, I'm not doing it on my own. USA. And you're this on profit and loss. Profit and loss. Okay, please go mad for Mr. Edwards. That was Eddie Dean, everybody. A motivational speaker without motivation, I think. Never mind. I think that what we will do is we will go straight into our next act. I was going to talk to you about how great capitalism is, but it's a foregone conclusion. What I want you to chant this time is we're going to think about some great USA exports. Okay? So this side I want you to start chanting beef, beef, beef. And this side I want shale gas, shale gas, shale gas. Okay? So, ready? Beef, beef, beef. Beef, come on, beef, there we are, beef, shale gas, shale gas, shale gas. Okay, we're going to welcome to the stage my next act, Mr. Luke McDonald. Marvellous. We've learned a lot. We've learned that drugs are bad. We've learned that Luke is essentially a pair of used PE shorts. We've learned that Sarah is a probable communist. If you want to learn more, we'll be back after a short interval doing improvised comedy.
Dual compare of the evening. Ed and Andrew!
Hello! Are we well?
Yeah.
Excellent, there's so many of you, I'm not going to use this. What? Never mind. Stop, mate. So this is going to be the big prize giveaway! That's right. Now, that is an award-winning radio show that we host on Bellrig FM.
Yeah, I'm sure you've all listened to won the award for best new show. Bellrig FM.
Yeah.
2015.
Very heated contest, very heated contest.
We were up
Why
against, all big shows. Uncontested.
Alright, it was uncontested, but nevertheless we won Best New Show.
Flying colours.
Okay, and it was a very special time of year for us, and that brings me on to a nice little segue. We're going to chat about a very special time of year for you guys in here. Okay, Christmas time, of course. So Eddie, take a pick from anyone in the audience.
Crimbo.
Anyone you like. Talk to them about Christmas.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Sam.
Hello, Sam. What's your favourite thing about Christmas?
Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts, the heart of a meal. Now, Sam, what do you have with your Brussels sprouts?
Gravy.
Gravy. Anything else? Anything more flavoursome, more vavavoom? Vavouche?
Cranberry sauce.
Is that all you eat on Christmas?
Sprouts, gravy and cranberry sauce.
Okay, right, I have potatoes.
Do you can just
Right, you're missing a crucial component of the meal. Now we are.
Interesting fact about Turkey, it's actually Andrew's favourite country.
This isn't prepped at all. When there was that coup, right, in Turkey, I loved it.
Yeah, which is weird because turkeys go gobble gobble, not coup.
No, exactly. But my mate Erdogan, he Erdogan.
Yeah,
that's right.
When he comes on screen, Andrew's like, he's number Erdogan.
Yeah, that's right.
Erdogan.
We flipping love him.
He loves
God. You sir, what's your favourite thing about Christmas? And do you like my t-shirt?
I love your t-shirt.
Yeah, that's me.
That's me.
Just a big prize giveaway.
Wow. Branding.
Good. What's your favourite thing about Christmas? What's your name, Festival?
Alison.
Alison. What's your favourite thing about Christmas, Alison?
The food.
The food. We've already had the food. You think of nothing else?
The presents.
The presents.
The presents.
This bit wasn't prepped either.
We all love presents.
We have got a number of good presents to show you. Eddie, what did you get?
My favourite present this year. I got a new camera. It's got a splash-proof lens.
Yeah.
It's very handy.
For all that porn.
Yeah. And it's not internet enabled, so Teresa can't see all the snuff films I'm making.
Yeah. Perfect. One
Four
of those.
fingers in my videos.
Ask me what I got.
What did you get, Andrew?
I got this.
What's that?
This is a genuine Christmas present. It is Charlie Chaplin's autobiography. Adolf Hitler.
Why did Hitler write that?
Quite a fan, I think.
Oh. And what does this stand for? Mein Kampf.
My cat. So camp is jolly good time.
So mine must be genocide is.
No. So Christmas. Christmas, everyone.
Christmas.
Let's just go a couple more people. What's your favourite thing? No, I know you. What's your favourite thing about Christmas?
TV.
TV. That's a good one. Actually, we didn't think of TV.
It's a
What's your
good
favourite
one.
thing you watch on TV?
The royal family.
Good see.
Oh, you can't put that up there.
Yeah.
Not at Christmas.
They don't have Christmas specials. They can't make it
You
long
want to
live
do
the
a
chickens.
Ooh.
That was a 4 of disgust, not a 4 of enjoyment.
That's what I'm used to.
Well, Andrew will be giving a 4 of enjoyment later. When he
Alright,
sit up.
great. Good, should we go on to an act?
Yeah, let's
Good.
go on to an act.
So, we need to get you energised before we bring an act on. So,
Yes.
we're going to chant some things, okay? So Eddie's got this stuff for the audience.
Yeah.
You're ready. You're a big guy. Come on, Eddie. What's your favourite thing about
My
Christmas?
favourite thing about Christmas is my racist uncle.
There we are.
Uncle Clint.
Uncle Clint. And my favourite thing about Christmas is all the old people who perish because of the cold. So, on this side, what are you going to chant?
So on this side we're going to chant Uncle Clint. Uncle Clint.
And on my side, we're going to chant old people perish. Old people perish. So on the count of 3, start chanting. 1, 2, 3. Old people perish. Old people perish. Old people perish. And please welcome to the stage, Jane.
Oh.
Seamless.
We've got another act coming up soon, but we're just going to chat for a bit with y'all. When this goes back in,
So we want to chat to you about your plans for Christmas.
it's in.
Good. So, does anyone have any plans for Christmas holiday? You, sir, do you have any plans? First of all, what's your name?
Tom.
Tom. And do you have any plans for Christmas, Tom?
I'll probably go to the family.
Oh, where?
Down Suffolk.
That's exciting.
Yeah, extremely.
Any points on Suffolk, Eddie?
Suffolk. It's got fuck in it.
He likes that, about Suffolk.
There's not much else to like about it.
Right?
Any famous battles?
No?
No. Okay. Well, let's talk to someone else. Hello. What's your name?
Ollie.
Hi, Ollie. Any plans for Christmas?
Avoiding my family.
Avoiding your... I'm not avoiding your family. I'm ambivalent to your family, to be honest. But
Why do you want to avoid them?
Why do you want to avoid them?
Clearly because
Issues.
issues.
Yeah.
This is a fun chat.
No,
isn't it?
exactly, yeah, we're going to leave then.
Yeah.
That's my fault. So, deadlines next.
Yes. It's the Christmas period. We've all got deadlines on our backs, like a ship, which would be really heavy on your back. That's the fun thing about ships. Anybody got any deadlines or essays that they're writing? Because we can help you out. Hello, sir.
Hi.
What's your essay?
It's a 12-minute word.
What's it called? What's the title?
It's on marketing.
Marketing. We'll show you how it's done then. Hello.
Hello, carrots, please.
You're welcome to my marketing, no matter your creed.
That was marketing.
That's the essay done.
Anybody else?
got any essays?
Any essay titles?
No.
Oh, not you, right. Any essay titles at all?
Any essays being written over
Projects.
Christmas we can help you with?
What? Go on.
A dissertation about self-driving
What's
cars.
the title?
What are the implications of self-driving cars for utilitarianism?
Okay. Alright mate, want a car?
Alright.
Get in then. Oh mate, I'm a carnal person.
And that's self-driving cars.
Because I was a car the whole time.
Okay, so this isn't working. What we're going to do is we're going to do some comedy for you ourselves.
Yeah,
now.
because we've been seeing this comedy thing with
Yeah,
around.
we saw Jane do her excellent comedy set, and we thought maybe we could try something similar.
Yeah, so I thought what we'd do is we create some comedy characters, like
Yes.
you know Little Britain, we've all seen Little Britain, haven't
Funny,
we?
isn't it?
Like,
Funny.
he's in a wheelchair, but he doesn't need to be.
Yeah, and she was sick because that person was a different race.
He's the only gay.
Yeah, so really funny stuff. So we thought we'd
Yeah.
try that.
So these characters are called Willie and Bum.
Hello,
Hello,
my name's Willie.
and my name's Bum.
Oh, you know what Willie's doing to bums, don't you? I don't know.
I don't know.
So that was the sketch.
That was the sketch.
Don't know if you enjoyed it. We thought it was quite good. So having cracked that, we thought we'd move on to improv.
The next school
Yes.
of comedy.
So we need suggestions.
We need some suggestions.
Any characters that we could be. Just shout anything.
Just shout anything out. Whatever
And
comes to
you.
mind.
What was that?
And you.
Okay, I heard Willie.
Okay, any more suggestions? Any more suggestions?
Well,
Snobby.
Bum?
We actually did have Bob.
We did have.
So,
We had Bum twice. Two people just said the same shit. Sorry, he'd already said it. For the,
and then, so let's go. So,
let's
one,
go.
two,
Oh,
three.
Andrew, we're doing it wrong. We need a
So
location.
can we have a location?
Suffolk.
A bakery.
A bakery.
Alright, okay, we're going for a bakery. Hello!
Hello!
My name's Willie!
My name's Bum!
Oh, you know what Willie do to mums, don't you? Because I don't.
I don't either.
So, that was the improv.
So, they saw through it, didn't
They know we prepared that in advance.
they? They know that the bakery person was a plan. Okay, so we're going to do proper improv.
Okay, so can we have a relationship between the two of us? Anything at all?
Doctor and patient.
Doctor and patient? Any advance on doctor and patient?
Key and keyhole.
Doctor and patient.
Okay, so...
Just come on in.
No, you come on in. You're my patient.
Sit, yeah. Yep.
So, sir, what's the problem? I see you have a problem
Yep. My legs.
with your legs. Okay, just let me have a look.
Yep. What's going on there?
It's fine. I'll just check.
Yep. Uh-huh.
You
You need any information about me, my name or?
no, we don't need your name.
No, everybody knows.
We don't need your name. I'm just gonna. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this hammer.
Yep.
And I'm gonna hit you on the knee, get it to go up.
Yep.
Hope.
Yep.
I don't accidentally miss and
Yep.
hit something else.
Okay. Oh, bum!
How do you know my name?
My name's Willie.
Oh! And what do willies do to bums?
We know. So that was improv and sketches. Did you enjoy it? No, you didn't. Okay. We did it anyway. So now we're going to do our next act. So this is a very special guest, a very special part of the evening.
Yeah.
This guest is only here at one time of the year, but he's never done stand-up before.
It's the first time, so you're gonna have to be very kind to him.
Yep.
Very
So
kind.
please welcome to the stage Chris Kringle.
Chris Kringle, everybody.
Totally marvellous. Right, so this is basically almost the end of our show. It's been a short one for you, I'm afraid.
Catch.
We practiced that earlier, I'm not great. So, we're going to do a special thing for you now.
What we were thinking is we needed a Christmassy finale.
We did,
And what is more Christmassy than the nativity story itself?
but I don't agree. I think the most Christmassy thing at Christmas time is a pantomime.
But Andrew, all the pantomime stories have been done.
Yeah.
Aladdin, Cinderella,
That's true.
Dick Whittington.
Yes, that's him. So, what I thought we'd probably do is mesh them together.
Wait, are you suggesting we do a pantotivity?
You bet your bottom thing I am.
Whoa!
Should we do it then?
Yes!
You're Mary.
I'll be Mary.
I'll be back in a moment.
Hello, boys and girls. My name's Mary, the Virgin. Do we know what virgin means, boys and girls?
It means you've only done it up the bum.
And we know what willies do to bum.
Different bit, So, my name's Buttons. Every time I come on stage, I'll say, hello boys and girls, and you've got to say, hello Buttons. So we'll give it a try. Hello boys and girls. Hello. That's right, so that's brilliant. Hey, look there Mary, you're looking fit.
I'm just hanging out.
Good, I'll see you later then.
Bye-bye, Buttons. Having some water.
Mary!
Who the fuck are you?
God!
Whoa, what are you doing here, guards?
I thought that two things basically. I thought I want a kid, and you're pretty damn hot.
But God, I'm a virgin. Therefore, we can't make a baby, if that is still to be the case.
No, because this is special.
Oh, fucking hell, I love your sexless insemination, God.
No penis, no problem.
Yay.
See you later,
Bye,
Mary.
God, thanks for the baby.
Gosh, Mary, whilst we were gone, did anything happen? Hello, Buttons. Fucking hell.
God gave me a baby.
I didn't say, but you can say it on your own now, you big.
God gave me a baby in my belly.
Flipping at you preggers, aren't you?
Problem is, Buttons, I need to go to the hospital in Blackpool, the home of Panto. I had to deliver it.
That sounds consistent. Should we get going now?
Yeah, but Buttons will need a donkey to get there.
Alright, just you as me.
Oh, well, no, this is a donkey, not you.
I'm a donkey.
You're not a donkey. This is a separate character who's a donkey.
Shit.
Let's go. Oh, are we nearly there?
Yeah,
guys?
there now.
Oh, fucking hell. That journey took exactly 9 months. Oh, thanks to this lame donkey. Speaking of which, where is he, boys and girls?
Behind you.
Oh no, where is he, boys and girls? Oh no, he's not. Where is he, boys and girls?
Behind you.
Oh, fuck fucking hell, there you are.
Hi! That was me all along, Buttons.
Buttons?
Hi,
Hi,
boys and girls.
No wonder you were such a shit donkey.
I was pretty shit, wasn't I? Right, Mary, you look like you're ready to burst.
I'll go look for a hospital.
Yeah,
You
look
just
for some
fuck
sort of
off.
hospital
Okay.
admin.
Just having some hospital water. Hello?
Hello?
Is this a hospital?
Yeah? Blackpool, Victoria.
Can I have my baby?
No, we're full.
Full?
Yeah.
Full?
Yeah.
Hospital?
Yeah.
Full? Bloody NHS hospital? Full? Bloody queue.
It's in the NHS?
Bloody
The fucking
NHS.
NHS? It's a
waiting
Victorian cuts
time.
this.
Bloody queue. Bloody
In
Maze
the
Britain.
Blackpool
Fucking
Victoria
Charity
Hospital,
Hunter, alright? Bloody
NHS. It's the National Free and
NHS.
Free and Appointment use.
Not health service. Yeah.
Right, Mary, you can have your kid now.
Yeah, where can I do it?
Smoking shelter around the
Oh,
back.
excellent.
Right, I'll leave you here. You get it done.
I'm just going to have the baby over here in this corner, just with my back to the audience. You know, have the baby. I'm having it. I'm having the baby. I'm dilated. Squeeze it out. Here it goes. I'm feeling it. It's like a big poo. Oh, I can feel it coming out. Oh. Oh, Jesus! What? No, I wasn't speaking about you. I was just talking generally. Jesus, you talk to me for a while I drink this water. Oh. You've not lost that pregnancy later. Jesus. You're a bit of a bitch. Jesus? Who is it?
It's me! Right, a couple of ground rules. So, when I'm wearing the hat, you say boo hiss. Okay? This hat, other hat, hello Buttons. This hat, boo hiss. We'll try it again.
He's a baddie. Oh, who is it? Who the fuck is it? Hello.
It's me, Herod!
Oh, what are you doing, Herod? Why are you here?
I've come to kill your kid.
Oh, don't do that, Herod.
Why not?
Because that's not good. Oh. Fucking hell, you killed my kid, Herod.
A twist, isn't it?
He was a bit of a
It's back in the
twat.
nativity, that.
He was a bit of a twat anyway, Herod. It's fine.
Good.
He was very
I heard
rude.
he called you a bitch.
He did call me a bitch, which is not very nice.
No, it's not.
I'll tell his dad.
I'm not going to be his dad.
So, Herod, what do you want to do now?
Well, that's the end of the show. But what we what we'll do before we go is written you a song.
Written a song.
We have. So
It wouldn't be a Christmas thing without a lovely song in the end. Just drink some more.
So
Oh, mama.
are we ready to go?
It's to a tune you'll know, so maybe you'll be able to join
If
in.
you want to join in, just sing on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ed and Andrew, Andrew and Ed gave a prize, went to bed. Andrew whispers in Ed's ginger ear, it's okay, there's nothing to fear. Dad's at work till the morning, he won't come back here at all. Ed and Andrew and Ed, nice and warm, they are led. Hey, what's that? Did I hear a noise? It's old Dad come to check on his boys. Dad is not what it looks like. We were just trying to keep warm. Angry Dad, inconsolable Dad, sent us off to army camp. That will do to straighten you out. Dad, oh please can we just join the scouts? He shipped us off to Kabul. We've seen so many bad things. Well done, ladies. One last round of applause for Jane and for Chris Kringle. And that's the end of the show. Thank you very much.
I'm going this way.
Right now, this is a very funny man. His name is Andrew Kendrick.
Right, are we well, people of Lancaster? I'm not going to use this. We're a nice little intimate little group. Are we all well? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, I shouldn't answer yes/no questions because they yield responses that are less than exciting. I am now going to get you to chat a little bit as well, a little bit of audience interaction. So could you, on the count of 3, shout out the name of your favourite celebrity? If you can't think of one, just say my name. That's Andrew. 1, 2, 3. Andrew. Put on Andrew now. Can you, on the count of 3, shout out your own name? 1, 2, 3. Marvellous. And on the count of 3, this is a yes/no. Have you ever been in love? 1, 2, 3. Yes. See, when everyone does it, it's nice. Finally, there was quite a lot of yeses, to be honest. I was rather hoping there'd be a lot of no's, because tonight I'm going to talk to you about romance. So people often stop me in the street, they say Andrew, for somehow they know my name. They say, Andrew, you look like something of a stud. I say, it's normal English, that's how dialogue works. I say, this is Exhibit A. They say, is there some sort of volume, some great tome that we could peruse to learn about your romantic exploits? I reply, Chapter 1, Innocence. At the age of 7, I received my first and only Valentine's Day present. It was from a girl in my class, by which I mean educational class, not social strata. Although, of course, when choosing a prospective romantic partner by their class, I very much follow the same philosophy as for a car seat. It's middle or nothing, I'm afraid. Now, she gave me a toy car. Now, this was excellent, okay? A toy car. Toy cars are brilliant. The fact that it was from a girl at that age was somewhat suboptimal, and I remember her tears as I told her as much. But from there, we clawed it back. And from there ensued a whirlwind romance. We held hands in the yard, we dined together in the dinner hall, and then at the end of the day, she tried to kiss me and I cried and pretended to be dead. Young romance. Chapter 2, Adventure. Now we move on, okay, and now we're ready to start dating. Or some of us will. And for that we need to go to that purveyor of romantic occasions. I refer, of course, to Mackie D's. Now, that's McDonald's if you don't know the streetwise lingo. Now, McDonald's, I never went myself, but I'm going to paint you a word picture of what I imagine it was probably like. So here's my date. Imagine with me. We move towards the door, okay, weaving between the youths with their McFlurries and their pointy words. We go inside. We're seated quickly, we've already told the maitre d' that we're coming. Then people go and they get drinks from plastic cups. We sit, she peruses the saver menu, whilst I go to get a napkin for a wet wipe. I meant a wet wipe for a napkin. Could you forgive me for my flaw? And then we leave, shortly after I've paid the bill, which of course is using the back of a bus ticket and £2.50 my mum bought me. Chapter 3, Casual Sex. Now, this title, Casual Sex, I can see you're all waiting with great anticipation. You're thinking, what is this man stood at the front, what does he know? Well, Casual Sex, sadly the title of this chapter promises more than it can deliver, very much like casual sex. You see, in order to do something, you have to first learn a little bit about it, I feel. We're all at university, we must agree on some level. And so for that we need sex ed, and we need the talk. Now I'm not going to go through sex ed, mine was dreadful. I was in an IT lab for it, and so when the syphilitic penis was shown, it appeared on every monitor around the room. Ubiquitous and inescapable. Instead we're going to talk about the talk. Now give me a cheer if you had the talk from a parent or whatever. Okay, some people did. Now, who cheered? Did you cheer, sir?
I regret it.
You regret it? Well, let's see. Let's see how good you are. Did you have a talk on? Your dad. What did he say? I'm not asking that. The thing is, I didn't think anyone was going to respond, so I didn't think what I was going to ask. Was it fun? No. Anybody else? Woo! See, I know. Don't be honest. Was it fun? Good. So I had the talk aged 12. It was from my dad. It was awkward. My mum had gone away for the weekend. I don't think linked to the fact that I was going to have the talk. But then we had a barbecue, me and my dad, and he decided that this was the perfect opportunity to launch the talk on. Really, it was the manliest position you could possibly ever think of. 2 men grilling meat, talking about the birds and the bees. That's really what it is. And the only way it could be manlier is I was bench pressing a nerd and he was conspicuously fixing a motorcycle engine. It was beautiful. So that's how we learned. That's how we learned. And then we moved on. And of course we come to university. Now university becomes a little bit more bit more ballsy, a bit more willing to do whatever it is we do. An example of this is a friend of mine, over the space of 6 days, had coital interaction with 6 different women. Now, what was impressive wasn't so much that he'd done it. I personally have never managed, I think linked to my use of the phrase coital interaction. It wasn't that he'd done it, but that he couldn't remember the names of any of these girls. Not a single one. Now, as a means for extracting oneself from socially awkward positions, I would tend to say, sorry, I've forgotten your name, could you tell me again? Rather than, would you like a shag? You see, at that point you can reach extreme lengths where you never quite learn their name. At some point it becomes too awkward to ask, don't you think? So at the wedding day the vicar says, Andrew, do you take Vera to be your lawfully wedded wife? To which I respond, Vera, that's right! Vera! I knew it was a V. Look at her lovely Vera. Don't know why Vera. She was born in the 30s. So, chapter 4. Now this one's a serious one. Okay, true love. Now, this can appear at any time. Okay, I saw it on the bus the other day. Couple, I assume they were a couple, sat together, eating a pot noodle. Not their own individual pot noodles, but a shared pot noodle, as two become one. And I thought, that's love. That right there is love. Because it's tepid mush in a plastic cup, but it's shared with the person of your dreams. And that's what I want. It wouldn't even have to be Bombay Bad Boy. It could be any iteration thereof. Now, chapter 5, public toilets. Now, those 2 words, public toilets, those are words that should never go together, like public displays of affection or public hanging. They're things that were sort of left behind in the 60s. Very much so. But sometimes you're caught short, you have to use one of these things, and thus it was. So I went into the loo, I went into a cubicle, sat down. Now, I don't read too much into this, ladies and gentlemen. I was, in fact, having a sit-down wee. I find these relaxing. An opportunity to really reflect upon life. I'm aware that for 50% of the population a sit-down wee is normal, but for me, they're contemplative. Okay, but my reverie was disturbed. I was sat there waiting for a torrent of delight, and then a kerfuffle occurred outside. A man burst into the toilet, went straight for the cubicle next to mine, sat down under his belt. I think those 2 may have been the other way around. And began to cry. Now, I don't know what to do. I would rather contract typhoid than talk to another crying man in the toilet. Another crying man, implying that I too was crying, but I wasn't. But luckily I didn't have to, because he said the words, I'm going to ring her. Words never spoken wisely by a crying man. Nevertheless, he had his phone, dialed, and I heard the words, yeah, I know you said don't ring again. I know you said that, but I just had to say this. You took the best years of my life from me. It's not funny, sad. It's very sad. You took the worst years of my life from me, allowed me to love you and never love me back, and then just ran off. You can love me, it's okay. And then just ran off with the first man with a flashy car. While I still care for you, and I want this to go as quickly as possible, so I'll make it easy. I was proud of that. I really was. It felt like a tried, tortured soul had finally made some progress. Until he added, I'm doing a massive dump right now, Sandra, so Manuel can expect a little parcel on his tidy lawn later. I knew he'd failed. I knew that had blown in an instant, and so did he. He just hung up the phone and started crying again. So I knew this time I had to do something. I did the only thing I could, the only thing any of you would have done. I stood on top of the toilet. I leaned over the partition. I said, hey, you sir, you need a pot noodle. He looked at me and in his eyes, he knew it to be true. From there we left together, we held hands in the street. We went via Mackie D's. Somewhere along the way, there was some casuals there. And now, he is my Bombay Bad Boy. And we're very happy. So now you know the secrets of romance. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.